Are we all seeing what's being revealed? Are we all paying attention to the things that are coming out from these files? Because I'm worried that I'm going to have to try and explain to somebody what I'm hearing and seeing, and I'm going to sound like I'm experiencing psychosis because I feel like I'm experiencing psychosis. I can't even sleep. I'm so fucking angry. I'm petrified. This is some of the most vile, most demonic shit I have ever even fathomed. Like, it is unfathomable. And I feel like people are not paying attention. I feel like we are underreacting. I feel like I'm very worried that when we are exposed to such distressing information, like we are being overloaded with the most appalling news ever, that we numb ourselves and we block it out because it's too much, which is like a totally valid human experience and thing to do. But like, we cannot do that. We cannot do that because like, are these fucking fucked up freaks like sitting there laughing, being like, well, everything's out and nothing's gonna happen. And like, look, we got away with it. And like, we got away with the most horrifying stuff that it's not even humanly possible to believe that this is happening. Like, I literally cannot wrap my mind around the fact that these things happened. It is unconscionable. And like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? Genuinely, what the fuck are we supposed to do?
All right, let's pause it right there. Now, you don't have to agree with every conclusion that she jumps to. That's not the assignment here. The assignment here is noticing a shift. Millions of documents dropping suddenly. Just suddenly, the conversation that used to get you labeled dangerous is mainstream content. I'm just saying. And let's be real for a second. Who spent years dismissing these discussions rather outright? Was it not legacy media? Political commentary lanes leaning to the left? I'm just saying. Now, the tone is changing. Now the tone completely changes and we just pretend none of it happened? Nah, we're not going to do that. Not over here, not in the kingdom. Let's keep moving.
What were your thoughts about the Epstein files and 3 million pages being released? And, now we are hearing that Bill and Hillary Clinton have both agreed to testify in the House ahead of the contempt of Congress vote. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I mean, this is certainly something we were talking in my meeting today about what I'm going to talk about on the show Friday, because it's just too interesting. And also, I can't believe I'm saying this, but where does QAnon go for the apology? QAnon, which believed in lots of really ridiculous things like, Democrats eat babies. Yeah. But they were kind of harping a lot on the idea that the elites are running this pedophile ring. And I made jokes about them. I also made jokes after the Epstein thing happened originally that were on the idea of, obviously there was some smoke there. Well, now with all that's come out in the last couple of weeks, there's a little more than smoke. It does look like anybody who was at all able to get in touch with Jeffrey Epstein, he was the man.
We're doing it.
They just, yeah. And then they all lied about it. Everybody has, and the arrogance also of thinking they could just use their real name in an email, which they did, and didn't try to couch it in, when I used to get pot before it was legal, it was like, I'd like 2 shirts, please, and no seeds in the shirts this time. You had to sort of codify it. Mm-hmm. No, they're just openly talking in emails about this sort of, sexual perversion, and that they were all doing, and lots of people who you didn't think, or I never imagined were doing it. I see these names come up. QAnon, yes, a lot of crazy there, but you know what? You weren't totally wrong about that, guys.
And now this, y'all. This is culture pivot in real time. Bill Maher, Carrillo critic, basically saying, yeah, maybe not all the smoke was fake. That's not a small moment, y'all. That's establishment tone recalibrating, if you ask me, because understand something. When mainstream voices admit ground shifted, it usually means public sentiment crossed the threshold that they can't ignore anymore, which means they don't lead change. They only catch up to it. And timeline matters here. So, let's go ahead and rewind.
Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems. That island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you about it. The island was an absolute cesspool. So,
the Clintons are friends
and he's
of
been
yours,
there
right?
for many times.
The Clintons are friends.
Well, I can't say friends, but I know
You're friendly. You know them.
They play at my clubs a lot. I have clubs, and everybody likes to play.
Are you saying there's a political problem for her if she runs for president?
It could be a political problem. Look, he could be a political problem. Right now, he's Teflon, and right now... I was not a fan of Jeffrey Epstein, and you watched people yesterday saying that I threw him out of a club. I didn't want anything to do with him. That was many, many years ago. It shows you one thing, that I have good taste, okay? Now, other people, they went all over with him. They went to his island, whatever his island was, wherever it is, I was never there. Find out the people that went to the island. I threw him out. In fact, I think the great James Patterson, who's a member of Mar-a-Lago, made a statement yesterday that many years ago I threw him out. I'm not a fan of Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, anybody else?
Jeffrey Epstein is a terrific guy.
Well, I knew him like everybody in Palm Beach knew him. I mean, people in Palm Beach knew him. He was a fixture in Palm Beach. I had a falling out with him a long time ago. I don't think I've spoken to him for 15 years. I wasn't a fan. I was not, a long time ago. I'd say maybe 15 years. I was not a fan of his. That I can tell you. I was not.
Trump discussing Epstein connections before the arrest happened, y'all. That's literally documented. Now, balance check here. We got to keep it completely honest. Yes, they socialized. Yes, he complimented Jeffrey Epstein in his early years. Sure, But yes, they split later. But here's what Democrat narrative framing gets really shaky. They ran years of simplified association attacks without acknowledging timeline context when it didn't serve their message. That's not investigation. That's narrative construction. And the difference shows up when the paperwork starts circulating, y'all. What? You see that? Unsealed court documents detail how Trump called the police about Jeffrey Epstein in 2026, where he described Ghislaine Maxwell as Epstein's evil operative. Now we're in document territory here, y'all. Now we're here. And notice something. Cooperation details don't trend nearly as aggressively as accusation angles did. Right? Because outrage selection in media spaces is rarely random. Stories get oxygen based on usefulness, and some outlets align politically left, lean heavy into one angle while ignoring the inconvenient ones. And I believe viewers deserve full context. But let's go ahead and keep rolling, y'all.
The only thing that I can say about President Trump is that he is the only person who, in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to them, he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, "Let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know," and was very helpful in the information that he gave, and gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward whatsoever, but had good information that checked out and that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition of him.
That was in 2009?
That was in 2009. So the only thing that I can say...
So this is the victim's attorney's perspective, not a pundit, not influencers. Legal representation, stating cooperation, and useful information. This matters, And here's what things get uncomfortable politically. Coverage and balance on facts like this shows exactly how narrative shaping works, right? When truth helps the opponent, the volume drops. That's not journalism integrity. That's agenda filtering. Now, I want you to listen to this perspective.
I never was tortured by Trump. And if I was, I damn sure don't know about it. But I was never tortured by Trump. That's not the point. But the fact that some of you are mad at me because I won't say that is telling. Why are we just having a conversation just about Trump like he's the only, we said we saw his name and all this stuff? Okay, because if it was, all of it was what it says it was, why wasn't that information out in 2016? When he was running for election, they drug out everything on that man. Why didn't they pull out that ball? But let's just knock politics off the table for a second. If you are just focused on Trump's name, you do not get it. We're talking about children. We're talking about children. Children!
Now, this hit different. You have a victim pushing back, pushing the narrative back, focused towards the victims instead of trying to get some sort of political scoring. The actual victims, the children. And that message, ironically, contradicts how often Democrats leverage this issue, in terms of rhetoric for attack value. Because exploitation shouldn't be campaign ammunition. But let's not rewrite history. It was used that way. And Washington still treats everything like a chessboard. Don't believe me? Watch.
It is a shame. NBC News broke the story today. I don't know if you saw it, that the Democrats are already saying, if you bring President Bill Clinton and he has to testify, we're bringing President Trump. What do you say to that?
I think they might say that, but they've already brought me. See, I've been brought. They had me indicted many, many times. Many, many times. They didn't do that.
Do you think if the Democrats win in the
It is a shame.
NBC News broke the story today. I don't know if you saw it, that the Democrats are already saying, if you bring President Bill...
Subpoenas, press sound bites, headlines designed to look explosive. But once you look closer, for years, Democrats and legacy media pushed the idea that Trump had some deep Epstein involvement, nonstop insinuations. Nonstop framing. Despite no flight log evidence to the island, documented cooperation with investigators, victim attorney testimony confirming assistance, law enforcement recollections of outreach. Yet the same energy didn't exist when names aligned closer to their political orbit surfaced. That's not accountability. That's narrative targeting. And this is why people don't trust institutional messaging anymore. Because when outreach looks selective, credibility collapses. So you know what we about to do? We're going to keep going.
Michael Jackson used his life to protect children, yet was misunderstood by the world as a criminal. Neverland, this mysterious place, was not as simple as the outside world thought. Recently, a previously undisclosed truth was revealed. In Neverland, Michael Jackson shielded children from the forces of darkness, keeping them away from the terrifying reality of Epstein's Island. He provided children with a sanctuary, protecting them from harm and abuse, yet was misrepresented by the media and the public as a criminal. He was falsely accused of abuse, while the real abusers remained undisclosed. Macaulay Culkin and other celebrities publicly defended Jackson, proving that he was not only a musical genius, but also a hero who fought for the safety and protection of children. He not only protected children from physical harm, but also helped celebrities like Britney Spears, offering her advice when she faced control from her father, protecting her freedom. Today, as more truths are revealed, we can finally see Michael Jackson for who he truly was, a hero who sacrificed for others.
Now we pivot into cultural narrative reshaping. And this matters because media influence doesn't just touch politics, it shapes reputations, public perceptions, public memory, the perception of guilt. And here's the reality nobody likes to say out loud. Hollywood media ecosystems lean heavily left politically. That's just data. Donations, voting trends, influence circles. So when story framing consistently attacks one side harder than the other, people start asking questions. That skepticism didn't appear overnight. It grew from watching coverage patterns on repeat. And then we arrive at the edge of the internet conversation.
He wrote, "They don't care about us." They don't care about us. They who? See, he's sending his people messages out of his pain. They don't care. Skinhead, deadhead. Everybody gone mad, situation, aggravation, everybody allegation. In the suite, on the news, everybody dog food, bang bang, shot dead. Everybody's gone mad. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Beat me, hate me, you can never break me. Will me, thrill me, you can never kill me. Jew me, sue me, everybody do me. Kick me, kite me, don't you black or white me. That's what Michael was talking about.
Now, this is what things get wild. We separate signal from noise. Some of these claims go beyond verified evidence, and we keep that honest. But here's the important takeaway. When institutions lose trust, alternative narratives, they fill a vacuum. And a major driver of that distrust, years of media framing aligned with Democrat political priorities that viewers later discovered were incomplete or very selective. That erosion created the environment where speculation now thrives. So whether you agree with every theory or not, you can trace the root cause back to credibility damage. And that's the bigger story here. So let's bring this home. This Epstein timeline revealed more than names. It revealed selective outrage, media bias, patterns, political weaponization, and narrative engineering. Also, one thing stands out very clearly. Democrats spent years pushing Trump-centered suspicion while ignoring evidence that complicated their whole storyline. But timelines don't lie, documents don't vote, and testimonies don't campaign. And viewers today are sharper than they were 10 years ago. People track receipts. So I want y'all to stay informed, stay grounded, and keep questioning narratives, man, especially when they aim when they come prepackaged. Now, if you made it to the end of this video, I want you to write receipts matter because they do. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.